ومن أعظمها الالتزام بالدين والمسؤولية وحقوق الناس. لقد نرى الالتزام الديني في شعار بطلة كربلاء. كانت معركة عاشوراء معركة بين الحق والباطل، بين الالتزام بالدين والكتاب والسنة والانحراف عنها. كان الإمام عليه السلام يمثل موقف الحق والحرية والشرف والكرامة، وعدوه كان يمثل الظلم والفساد والفسق والانحراف. ولذلك لم تعد كربلاء مجرد بقعة في الأرض في جنوب العراق، ولم يعد يوم العاشر مجرد مقطع زمني في سنة 61، بل تحولت كربلاء بعد شهادة الإمام عليه السلام إلى عنوان لكل ميدان صراع بين الحق والباطل. وأصبحت عاشوراء لحظة تطلب على كل ساحة فيه الصبر والصمود لأجل العدالة والحرية. إن إحياء عاشوراء ليس قضية طائفية ومذهبية، لأن الحسين عليه السلام يمثل سنة جده رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله، وهذا كلام النبي صلى الله عليه وآله أخرجه كل علماء الأمة عندما قال صلى الله عليه وآله: حسين مني وأنا من حسين، أحب الله من أحب حسينا. إن الإمام عليه السلام فجر ثورته المباركة من أجل الأمة كلها. ولذلك أن بني أمية كانوا يريدون التأتيم على هذه الثورة لينسى الناس ما حصل في يوم عاشوراء. كانوا يعلنون ذلك اليوم عيداً ويوم الفرح والسرور. إن شعار الإصلاح ينبغي أن يكون شعار كل شيعي وسني وكل إنسان فيه الاهتمام بمسيرة المجتمع وفلاحه. الإصلاح ضرورة لكل فرد وعائلة وجالية ومجتمع في كل زمان ومكان. لا يجوز السكوت أمام الظلم والفساد والجمود والانحراف، وأن الأمة تحتاج إلى التطور والتقدم، وهذا لا يحدث إلا عن طريق الإصلاح في الأخلاق والاجتماع والثقافة والسياسة وكل شيء. أيها الإخوة والأخوات، نستفيد من هذه الفرصة المباركة للاهتمام بما يصلح أوضاع الجالية والبلد. سارعوا إلى الاستفادة من فرصة عاشوراء للدعم والتبرعات، التبرع بالدم، التبرع بالوقت، التبرع بالأموال لرفع حوائج المحتاجين، ونستفيد من هذه المدرسة المباركة، مدرسة الصبر والصمود والأخلاق والمقاومة، في صنع جيل جديد يتبع مسيرة عاشوراء ويلتزم بما يقول. السلام عليك يا أبا عبد الله، السلام عليك يا ابن رسول الله، أشهد أنك قد أقمت الصلاة وآتيت الزكاة وأمرت بالمعروف ونهيت عن المنكر وجاهدت في الله حق جهاده. السلام عليك وعلى أولادك وأصحابك ورحمة الله وبركاته. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إنا أعطيناك الكوثر فصل لربك وانحر إن شانئك هو الأبتر. صدق الله العلي العظيم.
صلوا على محمد وآل محمد.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له. وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله إلها واحدا فردا صمدا حيا قيوما. وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله أرسله بالهدى والدين الحق ليظهره على الدين كله ولو كره المشركون. اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على عبدك ورسولك وحافظ سرك ومبلغ رسالاتك، وصل على وصيه وأخيه أمير المؤمنين وعلى الصديقة الطاهرة فاطمة سيدة نساء العالمين، وصل على سبتي الرحمة وإمامي الهدى الحسن والحسين سيدي شباب أهل الجنة، وصل على أئمة المسلمين علي بن الحسين ومحمد بن علي وجعفر بن محمد وموسى بن جعفر وعلي بن موسى ومحمد بن علي وعلي بن محمد والحسن بن علي والخلف القائم الحجة حججك على عبادك وأمنائك في بلادك صلاة كثيرة دائمة. اللهم ولا تدع لنا ذنبا إلا غفرته، ولا هما إلا فرجته، ولا سقما إلا شفيته، ولا عيبا إلا سترته، ولا رزقا إلا بسطته، ولا سوءا إلا صرفته، ولا حاجة إلا قضيتها برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. وصلى الله على محمد وآله الطاهرين.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
عظم الله أجوركم. May Allah reward you for your participation and expression of your love and loyalty to Ahlul Bayt alayhim as-salam during these days and nights of Muharram and Ashura. As we thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for giving us another Ashura opportunity, so we can come and say our salam to Sayyid al-Shuhada, to say Assalamu alayka ya waritha Adam Safatillah wa ya waritha Nuh al-Nabiyullah ويا وارث إبراهيم خليل الله ويا وارث موسى كليم الله ويا وارث عيسى روح الله ويا وارث محمد حبيب الله. You, O Imam Hussein, represent the knowledge of Adam, the patience of Noah, the sincerity of Ibrahim, the dedication of Moses, the sacrifice and love of Jesus, and the mercy and wisdom of Muhammad, peace be upon them. We thank Allah for another opportunity to come here and pray to Allah and say, Allahumma ja'alni indaka wajihan bil Hussein. Oh Allah, let me get closer and closer to you through the gate of guidance of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. To come here and pray and to say, Allahumma ja'al mahyaya mahya Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad wa mamati mamat Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad. That we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bless us with the life of this family, because their life is a life of honor, life of responsibility, life of compassion, life of love, life of wisdom and life of sacrifice, life of duty and life of beauty. This is the life of Muhammad and Ali Muhammad. We thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for the opportunity to come here and address Abu Abdullah and say, Ashhadu annaka qad aqamta as-salata wa atayta az-zakat. But we have to mean it. Is not to come and participate in Dhikr Ashura, but after the majlis is over and Salatul Jum'ah is starting, half of us leave. I know that some of the ladies, they have udhr, they may not be able to come to the Salat, but I saw probably more than half of the sisters who were in the majlis, and the majlis was over exactly before the Salat, few minutes, and I see that the parking lot is almost full of ladies. So if we say, Ashhadu annaka qad aqamta as-salat, that Imam Hussein was for the Salat, then why is it that when Salat is starting, we are leaving? We say, oh Imam Hussein, we witness that you amarta bil ma'ruf wa nahayta anil munkar. You stood for what is good against evil, right against wrong, wisdom against ignorance, justice against oppression, honesty against dishonesty, sacrifice over selfishness, and truth over falsehood. O Imam, you said, لا يكمل العقل إلا باتباع الحق. The only way to be perfect is to follow the truth. We cannot enjoy the perfection of human intellect if we don't recognize what is right and don't choose the path of truth. We thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for this opportunity to come every day and every night of these 10 days and 10 nights and remember one of the things that we learn and we heard from previous generations. Poetry like what Marhum Sheikh Muhammad Ali al-Najafi that famous poetry, يبنى النبي المصطفى ووسيه وأخ الزكي ابن البتول الزاكية تبكيك عيني لا لأجل مثوبة لكنما عيني لأجلك باكية. That, oh Imam Hussein, my tears, my passion, my inspiration during these days is not just for a selfish thing that I am looking for thawab just for myself, salvation just for myself. No, I do all of this because you deserve it. لا لأجل مثوبة لأجلك باكية. Because of you. I love you because what you are and who you are. Obviously, Bani Umayyah, they tried for 400 years. It's not only at the time of Amawi, but even nowadays, we see the mentality of Bani Umayyah still exists. They use their money, they use their brutality, they use their torture, they use their force, they use their propaganda, they try to brainwash generations of Muslims to make sure that the flag of faith of Ashura fails, that people forget about that flag. People forget about Ashura. That they try to say, as a matter of fact, day of Ashura is not day to be sad, it's day to be happy. They made so many fake ahadith. One of them, they said, the Prophet said, يعني كذب على رسول الله من أوسع على عياله وأهله يوم عاشوراء أوسع الله عليه سائر سنته. That there, let us have reception and ihtifalat and inviting everyone and be happy. Because if we do this happiness and joy and enjoy our reception on the day of Ashur, then the entire sana we are going to be happy. And this is why Imam al-Baqir alayhi salam said, إن هذا يوم تبركت به بنو أمية وابن آكلة الأكباد. They said congratulations, تبركت. Instead of saying condolences, they made it like a day of saying congratulations. Ahlul Bayt, they stood against this evil mentality and fake propaganda, and they said, like Imam al-Rida alayhi salam, man kana yawm ashura yawm musibatihi wa huznihi ja'ala Allahu yawm al-qiyamah يوم فرحه وسروره وقرت بنا في الجنة عينه. Those who are sad on the day of Ashura and they remember the tragedy that happened in Karbala, they are sad on Ashura, they are rewarded with happiness in heaven in the day of judgment. So Ahlul Bayt, they taught us to consider the day of 10th of Muharram as يوم من أيام الله وذكرهم بأيام الله. That Ashura is one of the divine days. It is a day that we remember what Allah said, قُلْ لَا أَسْأَلُكُمْ عَلَيْهِ أَجْرًا إِلَّا الْمَوَدَّةَ فِي الْغُرْبَةِ. They taught us to remember that يوم عاشوراء يوم النداء العدل والحرية والمساواة والصبر والصمود. والالتزام بالقيم الأخلاقية والإسلامية والإنسانية والاعتراض على الظلم والفساد والشر والشيطان. Day of Ashura is a day of being strong and learn from the patience and resistance and responsibility and righteousness of Ahlul Bayt, represented in Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam, and stand against batil, against evil, against what is wrong. It is a day to get together and remember the mission of سبت النبي who said أريد أن آمر بالمعروف وأنهى عن المنكر إني لم أخرج أشرا ولا بطرا ولا ظالما ولا مفسدا إنما خرجت لطلب الإصلاح في أمة جدي. I made this decision to give life to Sunnatullah wa Sunnatul Rasul, to correct the community of Islam and to give them guidance and light and right direction. But unfortunately, despite of centuries, still there are people that live under that mentality which was built by Bani Umayyah even now. A few days ago, on last Wednesday, we had Imam's meeting. It's a council of Michigan's Imams. It was rotating in different mosques. This time it was in Detroit. And I look around and I said, so I'm the only Shia Imam in that group. And the subject of some of the Shia Imams, sometimes they come, but I make sure that doing my best if I'm in town to participate. So we were talking, the agenda was about the Imams themselves, that Imam is not only the one who leads the Jama'ah, Imam Salatul Jama'ah, or comes and gives a khutbah on Friday, but the real Imam should represent the ruh of the community, to represent the life of the people around the neighborhood, to represent them at the time of happiness and sadness, and to represent masalihul jaliyah. So we talk about all of this, then if there is conflict between the Imam and the board, as we have sometime in the Marakiz Islamiyya and Masajid, how the Imam's council can contribute to solve the conflict. I heard in that meeting that there were some Imams that they were fired from the mosque and they started the job as a taxi driver and Uber and nothing to do with the community anymore. When the meeting was about to finish, I stood up and I said, Ikhwan, you know that the following Friday is Ashura. And I'd like you Imams to please include what happened on Ashura and in Karbala, include that in your khutbah. One of the Imams, he said, نشهد الله على حب الحسن والحسين وآل البيت جميعا عليهم السلام. Very honorable, one Imam, he said that. All of a sudden, the storm started. One Imam said that, Imam Elahi, okay, I have no problem to include Ashura in my khutbah, but would you promise also to include the Shahadat Umar ibn al-Khattab in your khutbah? I said, brother, what are you talking? Now, first of all, Ashura is not the day of Qatl Umar Khattab. Now, Ashura is about Imam Hussein. Now, in different occasions, we can talk about that. But now we are talking about Ashura. We cannot include everybody who was killed in history, talk about it in Ashura. It's about Imam Hussein. Even if I don't promise to talk about Umar It has nothing to do still as a Muslim. You have to talk about Imam Hussein alayhi salam. He said, but Umar was killed madluman, Uthman was killed madluman, and of course Imam Ali was killed madluman. I said, you know, from that point of view, we as Muslim, we are against assassination. Whether it be Umar or Uthman, Imam Ali or whoever, even if somebody is guilty, you cannot go and use the tool of terrorism and kill someone. And I mentioned Muslim ibn Aqil, Mumathil al-Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam, he had an opportunity to kill Ibn Ziyad in the house of Hani in Kufa. But he didn't do that. He said, إِنَّ الْإِسْلَامَ قَيَّدَ الْفَتْحِ. We heard from Rasulullah that Islam is against that deception, to invite somebody as your guest and then deceive him and kill him. This is against akhlaq. I'm not going to do that. So in general, but my brother, you cannot compare the the Qatl Umar or Uthman and even the Qatl of Imam Ali with what happened in Karbala. It's not only one individual. We are talking about 72 people, including Tifl Radi', 6-month-old. قتلوهم جائعا وعطشانا. You have 72 people on one side and over 30,000 criminals on the other side. This tragedy is exceptional. And can't you compare Imam Hussein with any of the Ashab, including Umar and Abu Bakr? Did the Prophet ever said they think about them as he said about Imam al-Hussein? I said, look at your sources. Al-Hasan wal-Hussein rihanataya min ad-dunya. Sayyida shabab ahl al-Jannah. Hussein minni wa ana min Hussein. Ahabba Allah man ahabba Husaynan. I mean, you cannot compare. This is not a normal Sahabi. This is not an ordinary individual in the community of Ashab al-Nabi. We are talking about totally different thing. But I found that everybody else is silent. Not only silent, I really felt that now looks like one individual against everybody else in the house. And I said, what is going on? When the meeting was over, you know, several imams, this imam said, oh, I'm min Nasl al-Hussein. Somebody else said, I'm min Nasl. I said, then why you didn't talk when we were talking? If you are min Nasl al-Hasan al-Hussein, why were you silent when we were discussing? Alhamdulillah, that was an opportunity that later on, I called some of these imams. And I said, especially one individual who comes to our community, when he comes here, he talks in a way that everybody thinks that is 100% Imamiyah, right? I said that, what about you? Why were you silent? You didn't say anything. That was an opportunity that we continued that dialogue. But the same person who said, I include talking about Imam Hussein with one shot if you promise that you talk about some other object and subject, he told me on the telephone that I really admire your courage, that you always, you know, bringing all of this, because there are some other imams, Sheikh Elahi, why you brought this subject? Why you talk about this? We came for that agenda. We didn't come for Ashura talking. Why you brought this subject to begin with? But the person who opposed my position the most, he told me on the telephone that I encourage your courage. I said, this is House of Wisdom. Today I received a call from our brother, Sayyid Hamid al-Sadr, he said that He was talking about last night gathering that we have, the service of the evening, and he said that really I'm so much touched with House of Wisdom and your position that you talk about all of these issues that they really touch me anytime I listen to you. And I said, when I was a child in my 70s, in 1970s, I was the one who was listening to your father, Imam Musa Sadr, and also Shahid Beheshti and Shahid Mutahari and Ayatollah Muntadri and Imam al-Rahil. My youth time was a time of listening to these heroes. And obviously I raised that way to understand the meaning of Hal min Nasirin Yansuruni. That when Imam Hussein said that, we consider that, yes, we ننصرك يا أبو عبد الله من طريق المشاركة في الإصلاح، إصلاح أنفسنا، إصلاح أهلنا، إصلاح جاليتنا. We have to take that very, very seriously. We need Islah in young generation, brothers and sisters. You know, the first generation of immigrants came to this country and to this neighborhood. They suffered a lot. They had to work in Ford companies, other companies for $3 a day. They used to work 10 hours for $5. They were so serious. And at that time, they wanted their children to be a doctor or be muhandis or be a lawyer and all of this. And alhamdulillah, in many cases it happened. And the progress of our community is the result of that generation that took education seriously. Now we are talking about different age. Yesterday I was reading New York Times, amazing. Now New York Times is talking about Dearborn community. There was an article about the Arab Americans in Michigan in Dearborn. Look at yesterday New York Times. It's talking about the youth that their homes and their heavens are the hookah's houses. They said the hookah is my house, that is my heaven. And they talk about their experience the first time they smoke argile. You know how some people, they said the first time I had a date, or the first time I had a friend, or the first time I had a drink, or na'udhu billah, all of this thing. Now they are talking about the first time I had a hookah, like in one of the list of one of the first things. Now they are talking about that. We are getting to the generations that instead of talking about doctor and lawyers, many of them, they drop reading and writing. They don't want to read, they don't want to write. That always is there any problem? Hey Google, hey Alexa, even for basic information. We are losing our brains now. We may have so many people suffering from Alzheimer. Already this is a problem in the country. But as we heard, use it or lose it. If you don't use your brain, if you don't use your time, you lose it. Then we become a generation of losers, brothers and sisters. To answer Hal min Nasirin Yansurni of Imam al-Hussein, look at Imam al-Hussein coming from a family of وَيُطْعِمُونَ الطَّعَامَ عَلَى حُبِّهِ مِسْكِينًا وَيَتِيمًا وَأَسِيرًا إِنَّمَا نُطْعِمُكُمْ لِوَجْهِ اللَّهِ لَا نُرِيدُ مِنْكُمْ جَزَاءً وَلَا شُكُورًا. This is the family we are talking about. And this is why before Ashura, Imam Hussein, facing Jaysh of Yazid, led by Hurr ibn Yazid al-Riyahi, Imam Hussein saw they were so thirsty. He shared the water with his enemies. He loved even his enemies. and even their horses. Is a family of sakha, family of generosity. So make sure that in Ashura we represent the generosity of Imam Hussein. ننصرك يا أبو عبد الله بأوقاتنا بأموالنا بأعمالنا, with our volunteerism, with our actions. We have to do that. Somebody called me, one of the youth said that, Imam, I'm new in this area, I don't have a house, I don't have a job, I don't have money, I don't have a family, I don't have a wife. And he said, do you know an imam that worked with me with Irfan? I said, brother, instead of Irfan, we need to have a work now. I mean, I can find, you can come to Salat al-Jum'ah, all about fiqh and Irfan and everything. But at this time, yes, do your Irfan, do your Salat. He said, I did lots of nafilatul layl, but still I have nothing. I said, if you do only nafilatul layl till the day of judgment and nothing else, there is no change. إِنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يُغَيِّرُ مَا بِقَوْمٍ حَتَّى يُغَيِّرُ مَا بِأَنفُسِهِمْ. Are you ready to come and help us? We have a lot of things. In the evening, we need somebody in the garage. We need somebody to help us clean the place. There are lots of need for work. We need volunteer, but we can establish a job for you. You can help, and then you can survive in the society. So this is the culture of dedication, determination, discipline, work, responsibility. This is what we learn from Imam Hussein alayhi salam. Let us show our generosity in Ashura. There are a lot of people poor all over, whether in Lebanon or Iraq or Iran or Palestine or Yemen and all these places, and including in our neighborhood, that there are people badly in need of any kind of support. Be generous in your support. Be generous in supporting your organization, your services, and take advantage of your money when you have it. I mean, last night we had this storm, right? Was for a few minutes. I mean, now 60,000 people in our neighborhood, they don't have electricity because of a few minutes of that bad weather and hard rain. So if you have money, there is no guarantee that it's forever. One strong hail can destroy everything. So وَغِنَاكَ قَبْلَ فَقْرِكَ طَلَبْتُ الْجَنَّةَ فَوَجَدْتُهَا فِي السَّخَاءِ. Let us learn from Imam Hussein the meaning of sakha, the meaning of generosity, the meaning of love, the meaning of helping those in need. This is what the Ashura is about. Yes, crying for Imam Hussein matters, emotions matters, but that's not the only thing. The same Sheikh Elahi who goes to any community and telling the truth about Ahlul Bayt or any other subject, but at the same time I am against the khurafat, against tatbir, against somebody killing himself in the name of Imam Hussein. So we have to nuslah anfusana kaman, correct ourselves and really understand Ahlul Bayt, that we love them, but we stay away from al-ifrat wa tafrit. So there are a lot of people, they don't go to these gatherings. They say, oh, you know, I just do my latmiya and my gama or my tatbir, and I don't want to be part of politics. And you know, there are some people say, oh, Sheikh Elahi talks about politics. I'm not interested in politics. You are not interested in politics, but politics is interested in you. Politics is interested in your generation, in your children, in your future, in your culture, in your religion. And we have to be aware of that. And this is what Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam said. Assalamu alayka ya Abu Abdullah, assalamu alayka ya Abu al-Ahrar. السلام عليك يا ضمير الأديان، السلام عليك يا زين الأولياء والأبرار، السلام عليك يا أبا عبد الله، قرة عين المرتضى والسبت المصطفى، وثمرة قلب سيدة النساء وسيد شباب السدرة المنتهى، مصباح النور والهداية وباب الرحمة والفلاح وسفينة النجاة. السلام عليك وعلى أولادك وعلى أصحابك، سلام عليك يوم ولدت ويوم استشهدت ويوم تبعث حيا. اللهم اغفر للمؤمنين والمؤمنات والمسلمين والمسلمات الأحياء منهم والأموات، وتابع بيننا وبينهم بالخيرات، إنك مجيب الدعوات، إنك على كل شيء قدير. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إنا أعطيناك الكوثر فصل لربك وانحر إن شانئك هو الأبتر. صدق الله العلي العظيم. وإلى الصلاة، إن الصلاة تنهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر. والسلام عليكم.
اللهم محمد وآل محمد.